Hello, welcome to Taking Off Topic. I'm your host, Amanda Rankin, and we're here for season two. Look at that. Didn't think that was going to happen, but we here. I am here with my special guest, Akosia Robinson, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to be a part. I'm excited for this conversation. Please take a moment, introduce yourself to everybody, and then we'll dive in.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. First off, I want to thank you for having me as a guest. This is by far something that I never thought I would be doing. And to be doing it with you, the individual that you are, how we've met, I'm really very grateful, very grateful. So thank you. Just want to start off and say that. My name is Akosia Robinson. I'm the CEO and founder of Legacy Minded Parenting. I have three adult children. Yes, 27, 25 in November, and 24 just turned 24 in July. So I'm grateful for the conversations, being able to see them now as adults and having conversations that are totally different, balancing what that looks like for me in this new season that God has me in, which outside of them, they have been on their own doing great. But I have been in a book club and doing different things and seeing what God is doing in my new season and just preparing myself for it. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm excited. And I guess I should give a little background. So you and I met this past July at the Women's Evolve conference. We were up one morning. I was walking toward the conference. You were getting some exercise in. We struck up a conversation, and this is, we're just kind of
Yeah.
building from there. And I keep, I know people who listen to other episodes of this podcast are like, girl, you always talk about this Women Evolve conference. But I'm telling y'all, it will change your life. It
Mhm.
just if you allow it to, if you're open to
Absolutely.
whatever is God has for you, it'll change your life in so many really, really good ways. And so here we are. Here's
Yeah, it's true.
another testament to that, right? Like
For
you and I
sure.
just clicked and like we were talking about earlier, we saw each other the first morning of the conference, right?
Yep.
And did not see each other anymore. And like
Anymore.
I was telling you, I walked that route from my hotel to the conference every morning, same time. Saw nobody the rest of the time. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I see you. I see
Yeah,
what you're
you're
doing.
doing something.
You're doing something. You're doing
Yeah.
something.
I felt that same way, Amanda, because I love doing things on my own. I've conditioned myself to just be able to show up in spaces. However, it's taken to exercise the muscle of say hello, smile. You're at a conference with 40,000 other like-minded women who are here, and Pastor Sarah Jake Roberts did her thing,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
have to lean in, right? And so the walk itself was clearing my mind and just saying, I'm open for what you want to do in this season and the freedom to do that. And then I just, hey, you're going my way? And you're like, yeah. And then we just said hello.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just starts with
A
hello.
simple hello. Yep. A
Hello.
simple
So
hello is all
yeah.
it takes.
And
Yeah.
from there, we didn't see each other at the conference, but then we took the opportunity when we said exchanged information. You said you were had a podcast. I was like, tell me all about that for me to be a listener. And then for to come around and say, hey, would you like to be a part? Never was on my mind. It's just really how could I support? How
Yeah.
could I be a help and spearhead your vision that
Yeah.
God has given you?
I appreciate that. Yeah. And for me to be like, I have a podcast is a stretch, right? Because I was just like, I have this podcast. So,
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
at that time I was walking with another friend and we were
Hmm.
stopped. We were like, pause, you're not going to speed past that. I'm sorry. Give us the name, taking it off topic. We're looking exactly at that moment, like follow, done. We'll catch in later
Yeah.
because it's it's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. That's all God. Because yeah, the way that it has moved and continued to grow and I'm just like, okay, Lord, thank you. Thank you. It will kind of circle back to that in a little bit. But for now, let's just dive in and see where this takes us. So, like you said, you're the CEO of Legacy Minded Parenting. And so you know me, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm on your website, like what you doing, what is this about? So can you just tell me like what is and what was the driving force behind even starting this?
Sure, sure. So it's definitely a community-based program, coaching, as well as just a safe space for women to come together with their challenges, their um, thought processes, or encouragements that's needed, celebrations for the season that they're in raising their children, no matter if it's younger children, middle age, high school, or like myself at this moment, adult children, how to navigate that.
Hmm.
And so the driving force is really just creating that space for mothers that they can just feel seen as well as safe to, express themselves. But God is just like, you are a kingdom builder and I'm in a generational business. And I was like, wow, because of course I was doing things for myself to better my life with my children as a single mother. And then God kept telling me, it's bigger than you.
Hmm.
You take these tools, the word, and apply it, and you're reaping the results and the fruit of it, but it's for others as well. And I would notice that with people coming by or people just organically having conversations, grocery stores, soccer games, football games that said, how do we do this? It was just literally from there, he gave me the mission, which is to help single mothers raise their children with love and joy through spiritual guidance. So it's all inclusive. And so the driving force definitely is you're not alone. Your story's not over, it's just beginning. And this is the path from healing, not hustle.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I love that. And it's in line with the character of God, right? Your gifts are not for you, they're for somebody else. It's bigger
yeah,
than you. And I think oftentimes we get caught up in our little whatever that is at that moment. It's like, nah, it's bigger than that. You
yeah,
know, that was the premise behind this podcast, right? I was like, my one of the things I've always really struggled with or just wrestled with a lot was when I stand before God and He asks me, what did you do with the gift that I gave you? How would I answer that question? And to me, it's like not what did you do in the, like for your little circle, but what did you leave for the body? And so
yeah,
this is my gift to the body. It's this podcast, right?
yeah,
And so that's beautiful. I mean, it's just that's who he is,
yeah.
right? And I
That's who
think
he
if we
is.
do a more if we as a community, as believers did more of that, like let me do for you. Let me do for the body. Let me it would change the whole dynamic of how we move in this world, right? When we start focusing on other people and really extending love and grace and mercy and all the characters of God, it just shifts. It'll be a shift. So,
It shifts, but in order for that shift to really be sustainable, Amanda, really to resonate beyond you, you have to believe it for yourself.
yeah.
God loves you.
Yep.
Full stop. Full stop, period.
Full sentence. That's it.
Period. If you have that and then you start understanding the gifts, talents that he's given you is for others, but recognizing he gave them to you
Yeah.
first. He trusted you with them. It does change your perspective.
And
It
that's
does
hard though. It
change
sounds
your
easy,
focus.
but it's so hard to do.
Yeah,
It's so hard to feel like you are worthy of
right,
this, right? Like little old me with all of this baggage and all these bad decisions, and you still, you know
right,
what I mean? Like
right.
it sounds so easy, but it's so hard to do. But
Yeah.
once you start just walking in it and
Hmm.
truly believing it and trusting, like, yeah, you
Hmm.
do,
That's why
you
nothing is
know,
wasted, right? Nothing is
that thing is
wasted.
wasted.
Nothing is
Exactly.
wasted. And
Nothing.
for sure, through the parenting and recognizing that, laying before him, I don't know what I am doing. How did you see me doing this?
Mhm. And still
And still,
love
it's
me
like,
and still draw me to you and
mm,
still have a mission for me and still have a purpose for me
mm,
through all of this,
all of it.
right?
He's
It just,
great.
he's
He's
great,
great.
right? It gets me like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm gonna back the tears because it's still early in the conversation.
Have your tissue ready, like
You
have a
already
tissue
know.
about
You better just
I have
be
mine
ready.
ready. I'm like,
Be
okay,
ready. Be ready to
yeah,
grab it. So what does the concept of legacy minded parenting entail? Like, you know what I mean? Like how conceptually, how does this work or what does that look like?
sure, sure. It. It's designed to shift the mindset, right? From survival to purpose,
Okay.
helping moms like develop a clear direction for their family, stronger communication with their children, sustainable routines and schedules. That's a huge one. That's my favorite. And we can get into why it's my favorite later. And then a success statement that's specific to your family, right? Because we all know the one constant that we can talk about in the form of legacy minded parenting is you are the single sole provider for your children in your home.
Yeah.
That's brought us to the community. But how the experiences, the shape of all of those things culturally, those are different and they have to be in the space. There is no cookie cutter framework. There's a framework, but when you dive deep, it's not plug this, plug that, you're going to get this without the nuances of you being individual, what brought you to today, right? That it's important to be said, it's important to be in the space. So that for me is like the concept to just make sure that it's faith based, faith
Hmm.
rooted, because that's my journey. Not that you have to come in knowing a lot about whatever. We can just start with God is love, full stop, and that can grow. It can be that's not where you are, but that's my story. So of course, if you're here, then I have to share you how I got here. I have
Right.
to give honor to where honors due and building the concepts around how he's told me, to do it has that be a very core piece. Also understanding trauma, being trauma informed, and building a model that, again, sustains our community, propels it forward, and changes the trajectory for our children for generations.
It's good. Now, this is specifically geared towards single moms, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And out, working with different families that you've worked with in the past, what's been some of the impact of having this, for the moms who participated in your program or participated in the community that you've developed, what's been some of the impact that you've seen or that they've, came back and been like, man, because of this, we do this now, or we see
Yeah.
this now. You know what I mean?
For sure. The impact for me, what I've noticed right away is it's possible. All things are possible. I can do this because one, I'm not an outlier. There's nothing wrong with me. And everything that I need, I have the capacity and capabilities to go after because they start within. So I get the impact of, will I really recognize that I can approach it individually, uniquely to me and my family, taking off people pleasing or other people's expectations? The weight of that fell off, and people are just immediately, families are like changed just by that concept of not trying to keep up with the Joneses, for example, when your family makeup looks different than the person next door. It also, the impact of seeing your children not as, I say this lightly, you reincarnate,
Yeah, that's it.
but
Yeah,
as individuals from the time that you've nursed them or carried them, they are an individual.
yeah,
To observe their life, the things that they show you from that eye, oh, that's a gift. Oh, I recognize that's special.
yeah.
And then creatively cultivating that, seeing, observing them as the individual that God entrusted you to cultivate, to raise, to nurture.
That's a mind shift, right?
It's
I
a
think
mind shift.
it's that's not something that comes naturally to
Hmm.
see your children as this is a gift from God that I'm supposed to just cultivate, right? They're his. And
Hmm.
I have a girlfriend who's done a really good job with that with her kids because she's like, we just find out, help them foster the gift that God has placed in them, and then we develop it, right? And then we pour into it. And I was like, that is genius because you're trying to I know with me, I was and less so as I get older, but when I was a little girl, I was just like, I'm gonna just tell you how it is. I'm not feeling that. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't. And so it was very hard for my mom to raise me, right? Because I was just like, no, I don't feel that. Full
Hmm.
stop. I don't feel it. I'm not doing it. And even in relationships, I'm like, nah, you can't just tell me what this is what it is and you think I'm gonna do it. Like, we need to have a conversation. And then part of me is like, you can't back me in the corner and make me feel like I don't have any options. Because my
Hmm.
only option then is to come out swinging.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yes. Those different things show up that way
They do.
because if those gifts aren't necessarily nurtured right away, right?
Right.
Because either the parent doesn't understand it or they are not ready to face that difference in you than what you may have been, and they may go back to their childhood. You may have went back and said, you know, I'm this way. I don't want to be backed into a corner. I don't like that. That's just your natural makeup, which then that's a gift. I'm grounded, right? That person, your mom could see that like, oh, she's grounded. Nothing's going to move her. I can start implementing truth into her
Right.
so that way she's unshakable when peer pressure comes. Other things show up. She will be grounded in that truth. However, if that's not something your mom may have been afforded to herself, it's like you can't do that.
You see it as a threat, or you see it
You
as,
have it's you
confrontation, or
right. You
like,
find out like
yeah,
how are you going to show up? Because ultimately, parents feel very important to protect their children, but they only can protect from the mind's eye they feel is
yes,
what their
yes,
experience is. So then
yes.
it's like, oh, you can't do that. You can't, you can't say no. You have to have an excuse on why you don't want to. You have to make someone else feel better about your decision. And you sounds like you came early on going, no, God
I'm
made
like,
me this way. I'm whatever it is, the toy, bath time, all the different
all the
things,
things, all the
all
things.
the things.
You give me
Here
some at
I
Christmas,
am.
I'm like, I don't like that.
I
I
don't
don't
like
want that.
that.
That ain't me.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
I
funny
remember doing
because,
that myself. I
you know what I
remember the
mean?
experience. Yeah.
It is funny because if you're not careful, like my niece is like that, right? She's very much me when I was a little girl. And I tell my sister, like, you have to find a way to parent that
Mhm.
without snuffing it out because
Mhm.
it's easy to do,
It is.
especially when the personality is not like yours. So I have two sons, one's grown, one thinks he's grown, and they're very different.
Mhm.
And my oldest is so much not like me. And so when he was growing up, it was always intriguing to see how he thought and how he got to an answer or got to a solution, right? Whereas this young one, he'll be like, bop, 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 bop. And I'm like, wait a minute. And he's like, Mom, I'm just asking for understanding. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just want to make sure I understand what you're asking of me or what you're telling me. And when he said that, I just was like, that is really good. And I just was like, okay, I need to take this a different way. Because I'm like, look, boy, you ain't gonna keep coming at me with all this. And I'm like, oh, I'm reading into this wrong.
And it's not like when you said like wrong, it's just like, oh, it's different. He's exhibiting this freedom and this expression, but it's truly based on how you've raised him. So he can do that.
Yeah.
It's a safe environment, right, for him to show up. And now you're seeing the fruit of that,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's what freedom is looking like with this child. Because of
Mm-hmm.
course, you learn and you grow from your first child
Yes.
don't know how far apart, right? So then there's life and
Yes.
experiences, things that change that have you grow. So then you parent differently,
Yeah.
right? And then you
Yeah.
see them differently because they're completely different already. So you may have an approach. And then if the one comes and says, that's not how I want to do it, you'll have to pivot,
You gotta adjust.
have to adjust. And I
Yes.
think that that's really something in my experience with families. It's hard because it's like, I don't have time to nurture that. I'm trying to put food on the
Yes.
table. I'm
Yes.
trying to do all the things and understand why I'm the only one doing all
Yes.
the
All
things.
the things.
And again, it needs to be added to the space. And
Yeah.
that's what we do. We're not saying suck it up. Don't think about that. It's only your children. You have to start with you and filling your cup. You're worthy
Yeah.
who you are, the circumstance today, one, they can change tomorrow. But if you don't get to the core, the root of why these things are showing up, they're gonna show up not in your children, maybe in a relationship, at work. just regular life or just really with yourself. Because when you're laying by yourself in the middle of the night, when it's just you and you, it's really humbling at that point because there's no noise.
Yeah.
And then you have to really deal with, you can and you cannot, but you can deal with this is showing up or it's reoccurring or, oh, this is new. How do I want to handle that?
Yeah.
But it takes a pause to do that. And often early on, I can speak for myself. I didn't think I had the time to
The
do that
pause. Yeah.
because I wanted to work. No one was going to tell me that my children didn't have what the two family picket fence, two and a half, and the dog family had. That was not my life. That was not our
Hmm.
circumstances, but no one could tell me that they could not have those things. So I worked, I worked, I worked. And they had those things. But then the pivotal moment that changed, they didn't have me.
Yeah. And that's it, right? Like
They didn't have
that's
me.
that's the give and take of it. Because, like I was telling you, I am a single woman, but I don't consider myself a single mother because it would be disrespectful to my son's fathers, right? They
Mhm.
show up, they're in their lives, they're active. But I am a single woman who's got these children in my home with me. And so that pressure, right? Because it's like I gotta figure this out. Like I gotta figure like we gonna always have insurance, we gonna have a home, we gonna and it's that pressure of all of that. And so when my ex-husband and I got divorced, I was just like I remember he moved out, I tore my ACL, I'm getting my master's, and I remember laying on the floor with my little 4-year-old beside me and just tears running down. And I was like, Lord, I am so broken. I'm broken spiritually, I'm broken emotionally, I am broken. What do you want? I'm listening.
Mhm.
Right. And, I was turning 40, so that's been a long time now. And my girlfriends just showed up and loved on a girl. And it was just like, because who I am is like, nah, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna figure it out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make this work. And that's most moms or most women. You
Sure.
just out there like doing the things, but then you're not present,
Mhm.
right? And it's hard. And it's hard to allow yourself a minute to breathe,
Yeah.
and it's like you deserve that.
Yeah. You
And
do.
because your kids need that from
That's
you,
right.
right? And even the first time I went to the conference 3 years ago, I had so much guilt. So much like, I could be using this money for something else. I could be doing this. We could be doing that. And I was like, but I need this. And when I
Mhm.
came back, a better mom, just because
Absolutely.
I felt so full. And I
Absolutely.
could come back and say, you know what, guys, I'm really sorry about this because, and my
Um,
oldest son, he's in his 20s. He's like, what are you talking about? But I was
who
like,
are you?
you're right. Who are you?
What
But
happened
I
to
was like,
my
I am
mom?
so sorry. And even all my girlfriends who went, we all came back like, we need to talk to our kids. We need to do something
Yeah.
different. I need to show up in a different way. And I think as women, you have to know that you're worthy. Like we have this facade or we've been told to show up strong to make
Mhm.
it work. And it's like, I was like, Lord, my prayer is send me a husband
Mhm.
where he can lead. I don't want to lead. I'm a leader and I
Yeah.
can do it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to. I
For
don't
sure.
want to do that anymore. I want you to be like, hey, this is the plan, baby.
Hmm.
Let's work toward the goal together. You know what
That
I
right?
mean? But I
Yeah.
think as especially single moms, you know, women who are now divorced and kind of doing that lane by themselves in a way, that pressure will kill you.
Hmm.
That
Absolutely. We're
pressure
not
will
talking
kill you.
figuratively, for sure. Stress, cortisol, your mind, your mental health, all of those things compounded, and you're having these children who have not been here before, have not been the ages
Yeah.
that they have, and are looking to you for guidance. And of course, there's that dichotomy of, I don't know what to do. Why are you asking me? And they're
Yeah.
like, who else
But you got
am
to
I?
show up like you
Who
know
else
what
am
to
I supposed
do,
to ask?
right?
So then we just add more, add
Yeah.
more. I think if we continue this road, it'll just change. And it doesn't. It doesn't
No,
until
it
you make the
doesn't.
decision, until you take the time to come out of survival mode,
You got to stop.
intentionally
You got to
resting.
stop.
Yeah. Part of that is our core RTR process, right? Which is rejuvenation, transformation, and then restoration. Restore this. Okay, this if I just had all the money, no man. Let's
No.
let's talk about what your day looks like. Why is that important? Well, it's huge. Where are you spending your time? What's getting your yes? What's getting your no? And
Mhm.
then what ultimately do you want? I'm too tired to do that. I know. That's why I'm asking these questions. If you're too tired to do that, we're not in the
Yeah.
restoring phase, right?
Yeah.
And so that part is really challenging because I'm asking them to just really be uncomfortable with rest, be
Yeah.
uncomfortable with the pause that God has already ordained as holy. The seventh
Mm.
day he rested and said it is good. That is not a suggestion. Holy is the Sabbath. Holiness is the rest,
Yeah.
not just go to church on a Sunday. I'm talking about what you embody, the rest that's necessary, the observation that he said, that's good.
Yeah.
What? That's
Yeah.
good. That's what I'm looking from that space. How do we create that? And that's not overnight, right?
Mhm.
It's can we do 5 minutes a day of really just intentionally, then moving it to 10 minutes or a half an hour or 4 hours on a Saturday after soccer or before. We'll
Mhm.
find the pockets, but that's what we look at, like the schedule. And that's why it's important.
Well, go ahead. I want you to break down the other aspects of that.
Sure. So after rest, rejuvenation, which is the rest, there's transformation, which we got to get in there and do the work.
Mhm.
It's work to be done. Whatever belief systems that are there that aren't built on the word of God, aren't built on truth, they have to be uprooted. And that process can be painful.
Yeah.
Brokenness that you're talking about, that is not God's best for us to be to the point where we're flat and then we're saying, Lord, you have my attention. But He will institute Himself in our lives for our good, and He will get our attention. And rather Him discipline us, love us into something rather than the world doing the same thing but for our detriment.
Mhm.
Literally, John
Mhm.
10 and 10.
Mhm.
The thief come only but to
To
steal,
steal, kill, and
kill, and
destroy.
destroy.
Yeah.
But I have come that you have life and have it
Like
more
more
abundantly.
abundantly.
So we got to focus on that truth, right? And then get in there and do the work. I have anger issues. Where'd that come from? Okay, why am I snapping? Why am I dependent on my day is how I parent my kids. You got to really look at that. You got to take the time to look in the mirror and then ask for help. You are not alone. You don't have to do everything on your own. And society, especially Western society, as a woman, and then your circumstances. Everyone else has an opinion on how you got to your circumstance,
Yeah.
and no one knows. There's so many people who have come to me with different reasons on why they are a single parent. It's not I made a bad choice and here I am.
Mhm.
Everything is not. It's not like that. Sometimes it's we were doing fine and life happened
Yeah.
and job loss, 2008 housing crisis, things change, things were stretching us and we didn't have the capacity. Divorce,
Death, all of it. Life happens.
right?
Yeah.
And then really again adding that to the space because it needs to be honored so then it can be uprooted, right? We have to can't just gloss over it. And then once you're really in tune, and God, for me, helped me through that. It wasn't overnight, right? The Holy Spirit was like, hey, we're going to deal with this anger thing. I went to anger management. You know,
Mhm.
you have to be honest. Where'd this come from? I was like, well, this is normal in my household. It's normal in your household does not mean it's normal, right?
That
Like,
right.
oh,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
stop talking about that. And then seeing what healthy looks like. And then the real truth of, oh, I have to grieve that I didn't have that. I have to
Mhm.
grieve the time that I didn't give that. It's both. And I'm still showing up
Yep.
and I'm
Yep.
here. And now it's today is a new day. And then that process, continuing, then you get into transformation where you let the restoration part, which is you see the fruit of it, your kids responding differently
Yeah.
because you're responding differently. You're taking 30 minutes to actually not say, just get your homework done, sit there. You're actually what's going on in class? How is this subject? How are
Mhm.
your teachers? Give them the pause that they need to be able to express what's really going on. If we don't have the time to do that, we're missing out on the data. I'm in IT, so I everything is data, everything is useful, right? You you listen and say, "Oh, homework's good, everything's great." However, so and so, was having a bad day. He shoved me. We can't move past that. We have to, hmm. But if you're just hearing homework's done, you missed it. That child didn't get an opportunity to share, someone else physically,
Hmm.
assaulted me. Whether it's first grade, kindergarten, fifth grade,
Preschool, whatever. Yeah.
whatever it is, there's no boundary there. There needs to be, well, how did that come about? Being inquisitive, asking
Hmm.
the questions. And then your child goes, oh, I'm not another thing on the list to get done.
Yeah.
Our children are brilliant. I will pause and say that. Your children, if you're listening, are brilliant. They're watching you. They are brilliant. And if you don't give them something to construct what they're thinking about what you're doing, they have already built up a story.
Yeah.
And that could be the story that is one diametrically opposed to the word of God, that they are valued, made on purpose, created for him and his glory, to I'm a mistake. My mom would be happy if I wasn't here,
Hmm.
and she might be happy. It must be me.
Yeah.
Break those things down. I remember playing games with my children. Who can turn my laptop on the fastest as we're driving from work, from picking them up at school, they would get a prize. When I say that now, I'm like, I just left work. I picked them up from school. I'm making a game about me being able to go back to work. What does that say?
Yeah.
What am I sharing? I'm sharing that work is more important.
Work is more important.
I can say all with my mouth, I'm doing it for my kids. They're the most important thing, but my actions is
Yeah.
literally sharing work is more important.
Yeah.
So when I really paused, did the same RTR process for myself and said, we're going to have family hour. We're going to, oh, you mean get your laptop? I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. I
it
had
was
a boss like
great.
that. Her daughter was like, Mom, when I get married, will you be able to come or will you be at a meeting?
Mm,
And it just, you know what I mean? It's
crushes
like,
you. It crushes you. Because you're like, no, I'm doing this so that I can pay for the wedding or that you have the best wedding. And
yeah.
you could have had
Yeah.
it.
I tell people I manage, like, look, this is just work, y'all. This is just work. This is a way to support the things that you care about.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If something happens to you, this company's gonna hire somebody else. They're gonna send some flowers and hire somebody else.
Sometimes the flowers, sometimes not.
So, right, you know what
It's
I
just
mean? It's
true.
like this is not the priority.
Yeah.
And if
And
we don't
we say
shift
that.
it, it will
Yep.
kill us and you
Yep.
will miss what the priority was,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
I had a guest last season and it was episode 6, I believe, addiction, recovery, and redemption. And
Mm,
she's a single mom and she was talking about, that grind. She's grinding it out. And when the relief came, it was opioids,
mm,
right? And so it provided a relief
absolutely.
that she needed, but it was a negative relief. You know what I mean? And so she tells her story about that, but it's kind of one of the things like we have to take that pause
Mhm.
because the pause will come and
Yep.
it can be a positive or a negative pause, but the pause will show up.
Cause will show up. For me, it was a moment where when he was like, "Oh, I'm learning these things." I, really started doing the work, and then my kids are like, "Well," until they call. Oh, until it's fine because no one's calling. But
Hmm.
when they call, we know what decision you're gonna make. You're gonna choose them. So I had to reverse engineer that. I had to break that down. And then when they actually saw it over time, because it didn't happen overnight, they were like, "That your phone's ringing." The work, yeah, I let them know it's family hour. It's our time, and I'm true to this word of uprooting what I planted because it
Hmm.
wasn't it wasn't a good seed, and I don't want it to produce the fruit. And I remember them really like catching on because we did family day every Wednesday. Probably for the first month, I was there by myself sitting at the table because they're like, this is cute. What's she talking about? And then it was like, wow, she's committed to this. It's not about a show or if we show up or not. It's like, no, I want to create the space.
Hmm.
And then they started sitting and they're like, and we haven't, I had it on my calendar even when they went to college, Wednesdays, because then I could, hey, it's family hour. Tell me what's going on in that college campus. Tell me what you
Yeah.
need, a way to check in. But it was so a formality that was already practiced. They were like, oh, it's Wednesday. Here she goes. She's calling again. She's doing the things because it was started to just be our norm.
Yeah.
and created the space that they know, like, hey, when they came home, Wednesdays we could go bowling, we could spend the time, we could sit, watch movies, but it was their time to do what they wanted,
Yeah.
spent quality, intentional
You
time to
make time for the things that
bring
are
their
important to you.
concerns. Yeah.
And they, our kids need to know you are my number one
Mm. And if they're
important.
not, ex
Explain. I need to do some shifting. I need to look at myself. I need to reevaluate this. Like, what is going
if you
on
want
here?
to, if you
Yeah,
want,
if you want
because
to.
to be honest, I'm here for women, single mothers that are committed to modeling healthy communication,
Yeah.
committed to having that with their children at any age. I don't have your answer. A man is not your answer. The more money is not your answer. And if you're looking to come to me and I tell you, oh, this is where you're going to get that guy and all your life, I'm not the person for you. I'm going to let you know you have to do the work. You're going to have to do the work.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the fruit of it will benefit you as well as your children. Because again, I think about you first because God gave those children to you because of what he put inside of you.
Yeah. That's good.
You right? And we
Yeah.
can bypass as parents, right? Oh, I'll wait till they're in 12th grade, or when they go to college, then I'll start thinking about me. It's a little late because then you're starting to maybe be resentful that you spent so much time and now they have gone to do the evolution of life and things that you prepared them for, and you haven't even filled that space of your talents or what God wants you to do or what He's been trying to share with you about continuing because motherhood is one thing, then it transitions, but you are still here. You're still
Yeah.
here to serve him, give him glory for your life. I can't look at my 27 and be like, yeah, I'm living, I'm raising you. No, you're not. No, you're not. What are you doing, Akosia?
Hmm.
What's God have for you in this season? And that's what I want to get back to. That's what I want to continue to have this safe space, built on forgiveness and joy. I was resentful for a long time. How did I get here? Why is this happening to me?
Hmm.
And those limiting beliefs keep you stuck.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until God arrested me in a download and said, if you keep doing the things you're doing the way you're doing it with your children, when they are grown, you will not have them in your life. They will choose not to engage with you. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought I was doing everything. I thought they knew I was doing it for them. God just arrested me. It's like if you don't change. He didn't say I'm going to change this for you. He put it directly to me. If you don't change everything that you think you're working for, it will not be there. And
Hmm.
I was like, well, that can't happen.
Right.
So yeah, that's how the concepts. That's how
I
the
love that.
impact. Yeah.
In your work with families, what are some limiting beliefs that seem to be harder to let go of, right? And let's define limited beliefs, right? So that everyone knows that I'm all a big about let's have a common language so that
Mm.
people know what we're talking about when we talk about limited beliefs. So if you want to define it, you want me to define it, I mean, we're gonna probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. I mean, yeah.
so a limited belief would be a deeply held conviction or assumption that constrains or holds you back away from something, right? And that could be something like in your career, you could be like, I'm not smart enough to do bop, 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 or I'm not qualified enough, right? That's a limited belief. In your relationships, you could be like, I always get hurt, so no one loves me, or I'm not deserving of love, right? For me, with this podcast, my limiting belief was I don't have anything of value to add to a space that's
Sure.
already saturated, right?
Absolutely.
But God has shown me like, nah, you do.
Mhm.
So and those things will keep you bound. It will keep you stuck. And sometimes it's unconscious,
Yes.
right? And you have to consciously be like, nah, because
Mhm.
God's about to blow my mind. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And so,
Yeah, for me, just to break it down, that is exactly what the limiting belief is. And I just go and say, like, if I'm using always and never in all of my statements, it's limiting beliefs. And if it's then tied to a judgment of right and wrong, you can just use that equation. You are using a limited belief. I always, or you never, or I never, or
mhm,
if I do this, then I'm right. Or if you do this, then you're wrong. You have put yourself in a limiting belief mindset, right? And the only way to get out of that loop is to open up your mind to the possibilities, open up the opportunities to nothing is happening to me. And then uprooting where is it coming from? Shame, fear, all of those things then help open up the critical thinking of your brain to say, is this based on truth? Is this something that is true? But in your brain, if you're talking to yourself in your mind and never putting it on paper, speaking out loud, let's get away from that. Like
Yeah.
action item number one, you are not your thoughts. Get out of that. Get out of that head of yours and put some things on paper. Because if you do, you put it on paper, like you just said, I'm not qualified. I'm Podcasts are oversaturated. You write it down. Is this truth? Well, no. If that's the case, it would only be one podcast if it was oversaturated. If I'm not qualified, why do I even want to do it? Who put the desire there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, maybe I need assistance. That's what God is all about. You will not be able to do it alone.
Yeah.
But yes, with Him, all things are possible because then He ultimately gets the glory, not you,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah, there is a level of need, or I would say space for God to show up in your weakness, in your, you know, gifts and talents where you need another gift and talent to bring that vision
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. That was how the first conference when they were, I think I can't remember the theme. It was Surrender was the first theme. That first year I went and I was just like, and they were like, your gifts aren't for you. And when you hold on to something, you're stopping someone else from being able to unlock what their thing is. It's like a domino effect. I have the gift of administration. I'm all about organization and
Yes, me
time
as well.
management. And does it
Absolutely.
make sense? Let's get some systems in place. Let's get some processes
Absolutely.
in place. That's how I think. That's how I plan my day. And so I'm at the conference and I'm emailing my girlfriend's husband like, what you need? How could I assist you? And
Yeah.
so we've been going 3 years strong with me, doing some stuff for him. And it's just like, okay, Lord, I see. Because,
Yeah, because see,
it's
that's so you're sowing that seed, right? And then that someone else has your answer. Because God is
right.
always going to do that. He's going to be like, hey, I gave you that. I want you to expand on that.
Yeah.
And you in business, they say you're like three people away from your breakthrough.
Your breakthrough, your big
Three
one. Yeah.
people? I'm like, three people, that person, but then they talk to someone else or their network and talk to someone else. And the business, the funding, the concept is now no longer just a seed. It's now actually in fruition. Three people, I think, I think I can make a couple calls. I think I can expand myself from thinking, the first no is the all is the no is finite. No,
And I think we
that's
have to be
that's a no
okay
for
with
them.
no, right?
Yeah.
We have to be okay with failure. We have to be okay with it not working out because there was something learned in it because his word said nothing is wasted.
Nothing is wasted. And I think that's true for me, coming from a perfectionist, model, you know, it was very much so, well, if I'm not going to be great at it, then why try
Why
it?
even do it?
Why even do it? Because we mixed the two. You got to be better than everybody else. Dot,
Yeah.
dot, dot, dot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to show up the best because they're already looking to discredit, dot, dot, dot. Again, limiting beliefs coming from
Hmm.
fear base. Already the cloud of that, breaking out of that and going, I love doing this. I can do this. I have this. It's hard if you have these other outside things saying, no, you need to show up this way. Well, how do I show up that way? I don't have that tool yet. I don't even know how to get that tool. And so it's
But
important.
that's the faith step, right?
That's the faith step. And that's when you step out. Yeah, you go, oh, I tried that. I learned this. I learned I picked up a book. I looked it up and we had
Hmm.
encyclopedias,
Oh,
I'm not gonna
oh
share
yeah,
my
we had
age.
him at the
I'm, I'm not
bookshelf
gonna
at the
I'm
house.
not gonna
Like,
share my age, but I'll just say encyclopedia. There was no Google at
mm,
the time to do your book reports or do
yep,
the but we had to research it. But what that taught us is information was
it's
available.
available.
It's available.
Yeah,
Now, we can talk access, and that is important.
yep.
Access is huge. Yes, there are systems in place that have you look more for the things that are readily available.
Hmm.
But we know that. So then we can also then empower ourselves to go find it because we know someone had this information at some
Yeah.
point. We see it, so I can have it too,
And that's
right?
also the beauty of community, right? Because you may not have the access, but I do. Or
Beautiful.
you may not have the knowledge, but I do. Or I know so I got somebody over here who I know can plug with you and then they can help you get what you need. You know what I mean? And I think oftentimes, I know for me, I'm like my girlfriends will be like, you're not really giving up a lot of information. Like, because they'll call me and they download and I'm listening
Mm.
and I'm encouraging. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Yep, yep. What you need, I got you. I got you. And they're like, what about you? I'm like, oh, I'm good.
Mhm.
So it's hard to ask for help. And
Yeah.
so God has definitely put people in my life where I'm like, oh, you got me. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm the oldest child. I am the doer. I'm the one that they call when they need something done. Like, we might talk every day, but when you need something done, who you calling? You calling
Hmm.
me, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna get it done. And so it's scary to allow people in that way.
Yeah, you're being vulnerable. And people
Yeah,
don't really look at vulnerable. Oh, everyone says just be vulnerable. Vulnerable's definition is really saying open yourself up to harm. Like, and I know what this area may look like I don't fit or I don't belong, but I'm gonna show up anyway. I'm gonna do the hard thing.
yeah,
I'm gonna be vulnerable and still if I receive backlash or they're that's a them problem. If they don't want you, your service,
yeah,
your company, your that's a them. That's okay
yeah.
because there's 8 billion people on the planet. Not everyone's gonna like you, and
Everything
that's
is for everybody.
it's not for everybody, and that's why you're not in an industry that's oversaturated because your podcast people are gonna love and resonate with, and then listen to it. Everyone can eat at a table with 8 billion people on
Yeah,
the planet,
yeah.
right? It's
That's
just
it. There's
it's
some for everybody.
there's something for everyone.
Yep.
And, looking at single moms and legacy mind, it's like, no, what do you want for your family?
Yeah.
Don't look at that family. What do you want? I want to have a healthy communication with my children long after their childbearing years. Great. Let's
Yeah.
put that down. How are we going to get there? I want to have this amount of financial, success so that way my children don't have to start where I started. They have a
Right.
cushion or a nest egg or let's start there. How do we
That's
build
it.
that?
What that
Because
look
those
like?
things,
Yeah.
yeah, those things are possible for you. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yep.
I can say it all day, but if I haven't saved a dollar, your children's children, you have to then apply the word, apply the truth,
And then do the work.
and do the work. Do
And
the
then do
work.
the work. Yeah. And I think oftentimes we fail to take into account of like when you look at someone else's life or what someone else is doing, we fail to take an account of what it may cost them to have that.
Well,
I remember
I'll just
years ago.
segue right now. You just hit me in the core because I'm reading, I'm in a book club and the
I'm in a
title,
book club.
the title, The Butterfly Season, and then it says the cost of clarity. I mean, people really don't understand that there's a cost associated
Associated with it. Yes.
to all the things that you want or have received. There has been a cost.
Yeah.
We say salvation is free. It is. The cost was our Savior on Calvary. It was a cost to that,
Hmm.
right? We can
Hmm.
look at it and go, I didn't have to pay it. Doesn't mean a cost wasn't paid,
Doesn't
right?
mean the debt was not covered.
It was, but now we can walk in that freedom like, oh, it's been paid. Now, what do? Limiting beliefs. I'm going to keep staying in the situation that's already been paid for. Why? No one's benefiting. We're not moving, and you don't get credit for something that someone has already done. It's like,
Yeah.
how did,
Like the parable of
well,
the sower, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we
What are
doing?
we
So
doing?
I think it's really important to recognize the cost, right?
Hmm.
If you want something, it's going to cost. Are we willing to communicate that? Even with our
Yeah.
children, as a single mom, we had family meetings. We still do. And it's just like, okay, what's the budget?
Oh yeah,
What,
that's what we do. I'm like, look at this. You see this is
what are
red?
we looking at,
We got
right?
to get to black. So
Right,
what are
this
we
is who you
gonna do
are.
to get that
Now
to
this is the
happen?
cost. It's this. Okay,
Yep.
this month we're not doing. Costco bulk because this month this emergency need came up. So now we're doing this. Are
Yep.
we okay with this decision? And then collectively you get the buy-in from your children. Oh no, we have Christmas on our mind. We have this new car, our new house on our mind. This, so I'm willing to sacrifice this today, the action figure or the toy for the immediate gratification because you're teaching them
Yep.
process. You're teaching them to hope. You're teaching them what they're putting out today has an effect tomorrow.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
amazing when you do it that way, then, instead of you feeling quote unquote guilty for saying no, guilty that you don't have it, you can come with, yeah, this is our situation today, but we're working towards this. Are we doing this together? Great. So we're doing soccer, but we're not doing soccer and basketball this year. We're
Yeah.
doing soccer, and then we're going to spend some more time cultivating soccer. We're going to make sure we're the best at soccer. We're not going to, it's like, and then next year, or when God opens up that door, because in the midst of you making that decision, sowing that and moving, next thing you know, you're either getting a resource, someone's paying for the
Yep.
basketball. It shows up, and you're like, Lord,
Thank you.
you are in the details
And he's
because
in the details. He stays in
you've
the
given
details.
him something.
Yeah.
Show him in it, not you.
What words of encouragement would you give a single parent regarding their children?
We said it earlier, they're not a reincarnate of you, right? They are individuals that God has entrusted you to nurture, to care, and to cultivate the gifts that He's put inside of them. So having that mindset of an observation. And your children aren't looking for the perfect parent, they're looking for the present parent. They don't need you to be perfect. So one, you can't be perfect. None of us are. And you don't want to teach them that they have
Right.
to be perfect. So you show up with humility
Hmm.
and you apologize or you state the facts at their level of understanding now, right? Let's be wise. But you give them context that they can absorb and that you feel good about when you're moving forward. You're saying, hey, I'm working towards this. I missed it on this. I lost my temper, but I'm working on that and I want to do better. This is important to me. How do you engaging them? But understanding, giving them the gift that you're not perfect and they can't be perfect either. It
It
just
frees them.
frees everyone up
Yep.
from a, a expectation that where did it come from? Who's expecting that? And who are we, you know,
Hmm.
really trying to do that for ourselves, our parents, society, when really we are to do what we need to do with the gifts to honor God, to
That's
honor
good.
the gift, to honor the things that He's entrusted us with. If we understand that our life is as a manager, as a steward in everything, not just finances, our time and the people in our lives, because we can take for granted that they're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Say the
Yeah.
things, don't let pride hold you back. You can apologize to your children. It's teaching them that it's okay to apologize. It's hard to get a result that you have not sown. Like it's impossible. You
That's the
cannot.
word.
You have, right? Like, yeah, you're expecting fruit from somewhere you haven't sown. So you have to be mindful about what you're sowing because,
You got to model the example.
yeah, and you're
That's
sowing
good.
something. But let's just be very intentional about what we're sowing.
That's good. That's good. Same question, but what word of encouragement would you give to a single parent out here?
On the flip side, you're being refined. You're not defined by your situation or your circumstance. You are being refined. And you would not be in it if you didn't have the grace and the sufficiency of God to see it through with victory, not scathing through, not barely making it, but with victory. You have the capacity. You've been given everything to win. Be the problem solver that you are for the positive, for the things that God has put on the inside of you because you're special. Yeah, I would say you're being refined.
That's
You're
good.
not defined by this circumstance because again, it's temporary.
What would you say to you, to the younger version of yourself?
Relax, girl. Relax. It is breathe. Woosah. Have
Yeah,
some fun. I would tell myself, you survived 100% of the worst days that you thought you could ever encounter. And you did it with poise and grace. And you have some great things to offer. Be you. Be the God that God has called you to be here. And relax, have fun, be joyful. Let people see you. Don't be afraid to let people see you.
good. Okay, final question. Finish this sentence. The journey will have highs and the journey will have lows, but through it all, dot, dot, dot.
God is faithful.
So,
That he has began in you, he is faithful to complete it. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on your God. And victory is already yours, right? It's not something you have to fight for. You are fighting from victory, not trying to get victory. You just have to change your perspective.
that's
You
good.
already have it. You got it. All is well. You know, those things matter. What you say to yourself matters. And God is faithful. He sees you in everything. He's working everything for your good. No, everything good is not happening in the moment. Life be life, and it's true,
Life be life, and yeah,
you know. And he's using those things, the things that we think we want to discard, things that we think are shameful, things that we think are not worthy to be spoken. He wants to use them to bring glory to him and to help someone else see there's hope, there's promise on the other side.
that's good. Thank you. Thank you, sis. I love you. Thank you for taking some
Love
time out
you.
to be on the podcast. There's power in our testimony, right? There's power in having tools and ways of communicating and showing up in a different way. And I think you have to see that modeled. You have to see that lived out. You have to see that. You have to know that it's possible, that it's available to you, right? So for those who are listening, I'm definitely going to link Akosia's website. Check her out. It's funny, the thing we failed to mention about you was that you're coming from a place of knowledge in this, right? You have your undergrad in biblical studies and your master's in Christian counseling. You have like lived experiences, but there's also some educational tools behind that as well to kind of supplement that. Not saying that that's required, but it's nice that it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
God, I do. Again, we have to get used to celebrating ourselves and the
That's
things that we've
it.
accomplished, right? So I want to thank you, one, for having me as a guest. It's just, again, to see God blow my mind and to think like, oh my gosh, you are so mindful of me and the things that are in my heart that I may not even dare to speak. And like, oh, there's still more. There's still more. And he's just uncovering that. I just thank you for being in the position, right? Though you have a podcast, you said yes to it. We're saying yes to a conference, a betterment of leadership and how we can move forward. We're saying yes to talking out of our comfort zone, meeting someone new. And then here we are.
Yeah.
And I don't take that for granted that God is like so big, but then at the same moment, he is so in those details. Like, take that, you deal with that.
Yeah.
And I, I'm I'm your champion. I'm the champion for the podcast for you individually, your family. And I would love to do that for other families that find me as someone they resonate with,
Yes.
right? It's it's important that if I'm not that person, that you know that there's a person out there, right? A mentor, someone, a community that is willing to embrace you if you're willing to be embraced,
Yeah.
right? From resentment to joy is it's a journey, it's a process, but you can do it. And on
I'll
the other
get you.
side is everything and then the things that we haven't even conceived that
That
God
part.
sees.
It's
Thank
exciting. Thank you for listening. I hope this blessed you. Thank you. Thank y'all for supporting the podcast. Please share it out. Follow me on Instagram, taking it off topic, and we'll do this again next time. So thank y'all so, so much. Thank you.